What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with another ARK Insight, and today we are taking a look at the Spinosaurus. Now, if you guys have seen our previous ARK Insights where we've done the Rex and the Gigantopithicus, well, this is very similar, wherever we go over their abilities, what they're able to accomplish, and then what roles are good for the selected dinosaur. So today we are taking a look at the Spino. Now, first things first, you can see we've got a bunch of them here, we've got 3 of them. First thing that we're going to do is we are going to take a look at the Spino's ability. Now, whoa, calm down, big guys. Alright, so the first ability that he mainly has is that he has the ability to swap from quadrupedal form to a bipedal form. Now, you can see there we're running around on bipedal form, and in bipedal form, he actually deals more damage than his quadrupedal form. However, his quadrupedal form is faster than the bipedal form. You can see there. Now, we've got this Diplodocus who's so willingly volunteered to be a punching dummy for us. You can see there we're dealing 109 damage to him with our primary attack while being in our bipedal form. If we swap to quadrupedal form, we'll deal about 72 damage. There you go, you can see there. So there is a little bit of a damage drop, and that will make a big difference in terms of melee damage. Now, one of the other abilities that the Spino has is that he receives a water buff. While in water, he actually moves 20% quicker. His damage is increased by 15%, and his health regeneration is increased by 25%. Now, this stays with him the entire time that he is in the water. However, when he leaves the water, he gets this buff for an extra 30 seconds, which is a great way to maximize this guy's damage. You know, you can easily feed off this water buff wherever there's water in the area and deal extra damage. Now, as for the rest of his abilities, that is pretty much it. That is the main gist of his abilities and what he's able to do and accomplish. So now we're going to get into his roles. Now, the first role, we're actually going to put some points into the thingies there. You can see that he's got 4,300 health, 1,400 stamina, and 3,185 oxygen, as well as 630 weight, 284 melee damage. Now, the really cool thing about the Spinos as well is that they don't lose any stamina while being in the water. So swimming, they don't actually lose any stamina. So what we're going to do here quickly is we're actually just going to add some experience to these guys so we can put some points into their stats and show you guys the best builds for these guys. Alright, there we go. We've got the stamina, we've got the, the experience coming into him. Alrighty, so the first role we're going to discuss is the deep sea diver. Now, you can effectively use Spinos to go deep sea diving because, well, they have ridiculous amounts of oxygen and most things won't attack them. You know, you will get Mosasauruses and Tusos down there, but the Spinos can easily contend with the Mosasauruses. As for the Tusos, you just want to stay away from those guys on your Spino because they'll just get grappled and killed. Now, can you really, Diplodocus, can you, like, stop? Now, for this particular build, we're going to come into the water and stay away from the Diplodocus. For this particular build, you do not need to worry about any stamina because, well, you're taking him deep sea diving, and these guys don't lose stamina while swimming. You will want to put a few points into health. Me, personally, I like getting him up to about 7k health if you're going to take him deep sea diving. The rest you want to put it into weight and oxygen, evenly distributed. You know, your weight probably doesn't need to be too high. I normally go for about 1k weight, just in case, you know, you want to go gathering for silica pearls, oil, you know, even underwater metal nodes you could possibly do with the Spino. The extra weight, just make sure is he won't get actually bogged down. Now, melee damage, I personally wouldn't worry about too much because you're not going to really be fighting all that much. You're not going to be using him to kill things. You're going to be using him as a bodyguard. So, you know, he will be able to tank the damage and deal damage back. But when you really want to, you want to be able to get out of it. So, most of the other points you want to put into oxygen. Now, on ARK, oxygen goes up by quite a lot, which is great. You don't need to put too many points in, but 8k oxygen is definitely enough for the Spino to get by. Now, after you have leveled up his oxygen, you can then decide whether you want to distribute the points into health or melee damage. You know, you can evenly split them, get the probably Spino up to 10k health if you so choose to. Once again, you're not going to have all 72 points available to you all at once, so you will have to distribute this the way you see fit and evenly because you're not going to have all these points available. But then you're going to want to put some points into melee damage as well, and there you go. You've got yourself a diving Spino. Now, this guy's oxygen will not run out anytime soon, trust me. These guys' oxygen deteriorates at a very slow rate, so you've got that as well. Make sure you yourself have your scuba gear ready for yourself because this is going to be a very deep dive, but like I said, one thing you do want to note is when you go into the ocean with your Spino, make sure he is set to follow, otherwise he'll just straight up resurface when you get off him underwater. If you've got him set to follow, he won't actually resurface, he'll stay with you underwater until his oxygen drains and he starts to drown. But you can see here, we're heading down to the sunken shipwreck, and we've got everything coming onto us. Now, the downside of this is that you can't actually swap to the bipedal form while underwater. However, you do get the constant water buff. You know, it doesn't leave you, it stays with you. Now, that 25% health regeneration definitely helps the Spino in terms of surviving and dealing the extra damage. You can see here, we're getting absolutely swarmed with a bunch of Megalodons, a bunch of Eutropids, but you can A, outswim them if you so choose to, or you can just turn around and straight up fight them. You know, if you want, you can just run around, swim around, and you can just, you know, wait for your health to regenerate because you've got that 25% extra health regeneration going on right now. And if your Spino does start to run out of stamina, well, he'll regenerate it because he's not attacking, so it just causes him to regenerate. Now, for some reason, I don't know why the water buff is on a countdown. We haven't actually exited the water, which is a bit funky. I've noticed it's a little bit weird sometimes in terms of the water buff going on. It's quite strange. So, but you can see that we're just easily capable of taking out Megalodons and, you know, Eutropids, and we can just swim around, avoid them until we get a bit of health back, and come back and finish them off. Now, that water buff should come straight back. That's a bit strange. I wonder why it's a bit buggy sometimes, I've noticed. So, you know, you can take this guy deep sea diving. You know, with 8,000 oxygen, you aren't going to run out of oxygen anytime soon. You know, that's going to last you quite a bit of time. You know, and oxygen goes down at about 2 per 1 second. So you've got about 4,000 seconds of oxygen, which is a lot and easily enough for you to accomplish what you need to underwater with your Spino. Now, this is obviously if you don't want to tame up Megalodons and whatnot. Spinos definitely can contend with Megalodons much better, and you're probably a lot safer with a Spino because they can get more weight, more health, and more damage. Plus, they have the buff, which for some reason isn't reactivating. There we go. Now it has reactivated. That was weird. So it seems like, okay, only on the surface? I don't know. The buff is very strange. But, you know, you can see we're going deep sea diving here with our Spino. And look, he's happy just paddling along, doing what he does best, swimming underwater. His oxygen's not depleting. His stamina's not depleting. It's wonderful. So this is one of the roles that you can use for your Spino, deep sea diver. So we're going to go and cover the rest of the roles that the Spino can do. So the next role that we're going to cover is the combat role. Now, the Spino is a great means of taking on pretty much anything located in ARK. He has a faster attack speed than a Rex, however he does deal a little bit less damage than a Rex. However, with the water buff, if you've got melee damage pumped up in the right amount of levels, you can actually overpower a Rex. That combined with the attack speed of the Spino allows the Spino to definitely take on a Rex and kill Rexes. Tamed Rexes I'm talking about. Not the regular wild ones, because hell, let's face it, everyone can kill those. But the tamed Rexes. Now you can see here, this Spino here is significantly stronger than that last Spino we were on. This guy's definitely going to have a much higher melee damage than the last Spino. Let's take a quick look here. There we go. You can see this guy's got 400 melee damage, which is a huge amount of melee damage. Now, we haven't pumped any points into this, so the main points that you are going to want to pump into this Spino is obviously health and melee damage. You don't really need to worry about stamina all that much because, well, you can just stop attacking. But you can easily get the Spino up to 10k health. Granted, it's not on par with the Rex. You can still get it up to 15k health if you so choose to, but it does take a lot of points to get to 15k health. You then want to pump the rest into straight up melee damage. Once you've got 15k health, there's little that can kill you on ARK aside from the bosses and wild gigas. But you saw there, we are now on, how much health, how much melee damage are actually on? 619%. This combined with the water buff is going to make you a very formidable opponent. Granted, you've also got the extra movement speed as well from the water buff. You're just crazy riding around on a Spino. Now, we've got a Dibear here. He does have a saddle on him. Do we have something that doesn't have a saddle? Here we go. So we've got the Trike. We're just going to wait for our buff to disappear, and then we'll actually show you guys how much damage we're able to do without the water buff. Take into mind the water buff increases the amount of damage you deal by 20%. This combined with a crazy high melee damage means you're going to deal some serious damage. So 356 damage is how much we are doing with the buffed up melee. Now, we were doing 328, I believe, to the Megalosaurus without the extra points in melee damage with the water buff. So let's grab the water buff right now. Here we go. And you can already see we're moving a lot faster. And we don't have anything wild to test it on. Is there anything without a saddle around here? There we go. We've got a Mose Chops here in front of us. 422 damage. That's an extra 60 points of damage on top of what we were hitting previously. This is nuts. There we go. 506. Why are we doing 506 to you? Maybe because the other guys were mate boosted. So, you know, you're dealing crap tons of damage to everything in range, which is great. You know, this guy can easily fell most other dinosaurs, including Rexes. Now, as well as that, if you are getting circled, you can easily turn on bipedal form to actually pivot on the spot and attack anything attacking you from any angle, which is absolutely fantastic because it means you're going to be pretty much a wrecking ball of power and destruction. You know, you can grab the water buff again, get your health regeneration on the way, and get the extra melee damage and the movement speed, and you'll be pretty much invincible. It is crazy how powerful Spinos are now, and I definitely recommend fitting them for this role, because we're going to be doing a test later on to see if the Spinos can actually take on the bosses instead of the Rexes, and we'll see who comes out on top. So there is one final role that we're going to cover, and that will be showcased by the other Spino. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the video so far. Let me know down below if you are, but we're going to go over and show you the final role. Now, the last role we're going to cover here is the transport role. Spinos have a pretty good base weight, very similar to the Rex. It is a little bit lower than the Rexes, however they can move significantly faster, power through the water, and they don't lose stamina while being in water. So this role is going to cover the transport role. Now, pretty much what you want to pump into your Spino for this role is weight and stamina. You can obviously put a little bit of health onto the Spino if you so choose to. You know, it helps having a little bit of extra health, but most things on the Ark won't actually bother to attack you when you're riding around on a Spino. You know, 1500 weight is plenty of weight on a Spino. You can keep going though. Like, you know, you're not unbound by the amount of points you can put in. Granted, you're not going to have the 72 points like I always mention, but, you know, this paired... Ooh, wait, actually, that is one thing that we forgot to do. You can actually pump up their movement speed as well to make them move faster. What we're going to do here is... I don't think we have an extra Spino. We're just going to quickly spawn in an extra Spino and show you guys what happens if you pump up their movement speed as well. Alrighty, so we're back with the new Spino. Now, like I was saying, stamina is it's not a definite, because if you are going to be going through water, you don't need to worry about stamina. However, on land, you will need stamina. You know, you then can pump up weight. You know, you can easily take it up to 1500. 1500 should cover most of what you're going to be able to transport. You know, that's plenty of weight to work with. Plus, you're obviously going to have other dinos to use. So 1500 weight is plenty. But if you then put the rest of the points into movement speed, which some people consider a waste, I don't really consider it a waste because it will make them move faster. You know, you can see we're a little bit of a sloth. But there we go. Look at that. We are a lot faster than what we were before. Now, if we come into the water... Actually, we have the water buff already. If we come into the water, you know, the Spino is a lot faster. You know, you can cover a lot more ground with flyers, obviously. But if you don't have access to flyers and you just want to choose to use the Spino, then this is definitely the option for you. You can see there, we're just flying. Now, you know, you can easily transition between water and land, and you're still able to move real fast. The Spino, like I said, does not lose stamina while swimming in the ocean, so you can ferry items out to a raft, to an underwater base if you so choose to. You know, you're not bound by anything. This is the final role we're going to be discussing with you guys. You know, there's not really much else to say about this role. You know, you're going to just transport a lot of stuff between bases. You're on a Spino, most things won't attack a Spino. Players won't tend to normally attack Spinos, they'll tend to stay away from them unless they feel they're able to completely decimate you. So you shouldn't have really much else to worry about while riding on a Spino. So guys, that'll conclude today's video. Let me know what you thought of the video down below. Let me know if you'd like to see more, if you'd got a particular request for one dino. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.